The question, what's the crack?
I think we know what the crack is today.
Yeah, there's no hiding it.
He's been called out. We've all been saying it. It's been going on for ages. And now it's coming to the surface. Philip Schofield is a pedo. I said it. I said it. I'll say it again with my whole chest.
You can't say that. He's not a pedo. He's a very, he's going through a really rough time at the minute.
I'm sorry. I do not buy any of that sob story. Not for 1 second do I believe anything that comes out of his mouth.
Why not?
Because he's a liar. He's a pedo. He groomed a child and had sexual relations with him. And everyone at ITV knew, and he knew, and he lied, and he manipulated the entire nation by coming out as gay.
I mean, not the entire nation.
Oh, he attempted to manipulate the entire
Yeah.
nation by coming out as gay. But really, he was doing things he shouldn't have been doing, and
Which is really fucked up in itself. Like, oh, let me just like cover up the fact that I'm a paedophile and like cover the story with, I'm coming out as gay, and I've been hiding it from my family for 27 years, even though I've got a wife and two kids. Two kids.
two kids.
But yeah, I've been gay all this time, and I've had this struggle, this internal battle within me, and like, bro, don't bring gay people into this. This has nothing to do with them.
Literally, they're like, we don't want you.
Somebody come claim this guy. He's not one of us. Like, that's not what. Honestly, top knock.
Yeah, I just think the timing of everything is interesting. I think everything that's happening is interesting. We spoke about this on an earlier episode where we were talking about like the whole situation that went down with him and this kid. But essentially, he visited this kid's theatre or school or something when the kid was like 10. Then they became friends.
Yeah, it was his theatre school.
Yeah, it was like some sort of like
drama club.
Drama club, yeah.
That's where you go to become an actor.
Yeah, because apparently he wanted to become an actor, and then this kid added him on Twitter, and he followed him back, and then they started messaging. And the story that Philip is saying is that, the conversations that we had at that point were him asking for career advice and me asking him, he was saying that he might want to work in television. But essentially he was like, oh, well, I thought you wanted to be an actor, blah, blah, blah. But if you want to work in television, we can
come along.
We can get you on, on an episode for a day of This Morning.
Like, yeah, I can get you closer to me.
Yeah. And, I think he said that he felt responsible for the kid or protective of the kid or something, because obviously he was coming onto his show and he was the one that had the connection with him. But, the whole thing is just weird, because you've brought this kid on and then the kid ends up working there for a while, which is, again, like
unheard of.
Like, that is completely unheard of. Oh, here's some kid off Twitter that's going to come and work here for a while. And there's so much seediness behind it, because ITV knew, like, what was going on. People at ITV knew what was going on. He was basically getting this kid taxis. So I watched an interview with I think his name's Eamon Holmes. He used to work at the network as well.
Yeah.
And he basically said that someone that works there, he found out recently, told him that what would happen is on Fridays, this kid would be getting a taxi from Philip's house to the studio
in the morning
for work.
So why was the kid at? You would assume that meant he stayed over then.
Exactly.
Because you wouldn't walk to his house or get there and then go.
Exactly. He was staying at his house. What was happening is on Thursdays, what they're saying was their playtime, where they'd go out on the town.
Questionable.
And they'd get drunk.
That's a red flag. What, you're hanging out
Why
with
are you
a minor
hanging out with someone
and you're
so
calling
young?
it playtime? That screams paedophile. That is classic grooming, like 101. Teach the kid that even though you know what you're doing is wrong, what's the word? Like, make it like childlike for them, so they don't think anything of it. Like, oh yeah, we'll call it playtime. Like,
yeah,
don't worry, this is just playtime. Like, it's all fun. Like, the kid don't know no better. Do you know what I mean?
True. It's true.
And then if they say anything, oh, we just had playtime. Like, yeah, then. Fuck, man.
It's so bad. So apparently they used to go out on the town together and they'd stay at Philip's house, but they used to get separate taxis. So he would come from Philip's house on his own, and then Philip would come a bit later on his own.
Like remaining conspicuous.
I mean, ITV knew, because the taxis are being paid for by them.
Yeah, right. That's it. So it's on their accounts. There's probably a paper trail somewhere. Because someone's been paying for it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So they'll be able to see what time it was, from where they went to where they were going, how often it was, how many times,
Yeah.
So that'd be interesting if those ever get revealed, but I'm guessing that probably will get lost somewhere.
100% it has to. Because the other thing is, it was investigated. So this kid basically got moved from this morning. I think there were rumours going around, and he got moved on to Loose Women.
Mm-hmm.
He got promoted, which apparently is like unheard of in the thing, according to Eamon. He was saying like, oh, this isn't a thing.
No one ever gets promoted.
This isn't a thing that really happens. You don't get promoted to another show. He's like, it's unheard of. But he basically got promoted. And I think because things were getting, a bit hot and a bit heated and everyone was kind of figuring it out, they moved him on to another show, making someone else's problem. And then, Philip comes out as gay. But they also made the kid sign an NDA. So he's not allowed to talk about what's happened between them. And also,
which is more question marks, because if it was completely innocent and there was nothing wrong with anything that was going on, you wouldn't make the kid sign any sort of NDA. You'd want him to speak.
And tell him
telling the truth would, alleviate the problem or the accusations.
Yeah, exactly.
So as soon as you hear NDAs, you think, well, that's a red flag.
100%.
Because why are you trying to muzzle this person for? What do they know that you don't want other people to know? What are you afraid of them saying?
Yeah. And I think the other thing that I learned about the situation was that someone made a complaint about their relationship or rumours about their relationship, and they investigated, and apparently they said to Philip, are you in a relationship with this boy? No. Are you in a relationship with Philip? No. Okay, investigation closed. And that was the extent of the investigation. Sign an NDA, move him over to something else, and that's it. And I think, is it Dan Wootton? I don't know who he works for now, but apparently when he was there, he asked the same question about like, this is a young man, this is a young boy, and if these rumors are true, they need to be looked into, or they should be looked into for the safety of him. And I think they called him a gossip and said he was spreading lies and rumors. And then I think subsequently
defamation, the person that's speaking the truth.
Yeah. Subsequently, I think he got released. And then Eamon Holmes, after the whole Philip coming out as gay thing happened, actually, to be fair, if you watch the video where he comes out as gay, you can see on Eamon's face that he's just like not buying
he's
it.
He's just so done.
He's so like, I can't believe
I have to be here because it's my fucking job.
Yeah, literally. But apparently around that time, and I think after that, he started asking questions, because he said that we didn't know that if Philip was straight or gay. We just knew that he was married. So he was saying, when these rumors were going around, we heard them, but we didn't know if they were true. And they were close to the boy, but the boy never said anything to them. But they said that they always offered him support, and they always, were there for him if he needed anything. And they also said that apparently he needed a lot of money for something.
Yeah.
He was, which for someone his age was quite strange. So they would always give him extra jobs to try and help him out, because he was going through a lot of money, which is strange, because I wonder what he was doing that he was going through so much money. Because I imagine he was making a lot.
Drugs?
Oh, maybe.
That, or like his parents like kind of depended on him.
Maybe.
And they were taking the money from him, which is kind of, wouldn't surprise me in that kind of industry. Do you know what I mean? That's like parents pour out their kids for shit all the time.
It's true.
Especially in like acting and media and whatnot.
Yeah, so apparently Eamon started asking questions about this, and the next thing you know, they've axed him whilst he was still in contract with ITV, and they released a story saying that he's accepted a contract with GB News, which at that point he hadn't, and he said his contract with ITV was still running, so he's like, I don't know why they would spread such a lie. But basically for asking these questions and bringing attention to it, they got rid of him.
Another red flag.
Yeah. Basically, they're protecting the pedo, and they're protecting their brand and their image.
You heard that, Alan? They're protecting their paedophile again.
Topless banter. BBC are now interested in Philip Schofield.
I bet they are. They're thinking, fucking hell, this guy's prolific. He might be the guy that replaces Jimmy after all these years. We need to get him on board. He fucking runs a tight ship, this guy. Look at him. He's come out as gay. He's fucking got his family involved as well. He knows how to bullshit people live on telly. We'll get him in.
I'm sorry, anyone who watches that interview, anyone that watches anything that he said, cannot believe a single drop of what he said, ever. It's not possible. He's not even sincere when he's saying it. He's got this little vape in his hand, acting all stressed. He doesn't look stressed.
He looks he's lying.
He looks like he's lying. He looks like he's and you know what? His language is so interesting. His language is so interesting the entire way through. He refers to what he did as, I did a bad thing. No, hon, you groomed a kid. You groomed a kid. You've even described
you didn't do a bad thing. You fucking, a bad thing is like fucking robbing from someone. You fucking like sin to the highest degree.
Yeah.
I did a bad thing. Bro, you really did is terrible. What do you mean you did a bad thing? What are you talking about? Oh, I know what I did. I'm not going to make an excuse. There is no excuses.
The funny thing is, after he said that, he said first time. So he's like, I'm not going to make excuses first time. Oh, what's your point? This is the first time you've been caught.
Do you know what I mean?
What do you mean first time?
And his argument is, the kid's of age now, so it wasn't like paedophilia or whatever. Bro, you were caught on a date with this kid at like 10.
Yes.
So even if that wasn't the case, you've like got this kid in your claws from day dot when he was like a young boy, not even a fucking teenager, and now you're having sexual relations with him. You're 60 odd. Like you're like, you know, you're 60. He's, let's say, 18.
Yeah.
Cool. That's legal in the law. But if that was a girl and you were 60, people will call you a fucking creep. So it's the same thing here, mate.
Absolutely, yeah.
The law might say you're not a pedo if he's 18, but if you've groomed him and waited to that point...
You've known this kid and you've been talking to this kid since he was a young
then your
young
intentions
child.
were obvious. It's not, all of a sudden now that he's of legal age, I've suddenly fancied him.
And you know what's wild to me is that at no point does he assess or address even how inappropriate it is to be DMing a 10-year-old. That's weird. I'm sorry. That's so strange. Okay, he would have been 50 at the time. Why are you DMing a 10-year-old?
Again, grooming.
It's weird.
Offering him favours, saying, I can do this for you. I can get you this job. Oh, you want to be an actor? I can help you out there. Give you advice. It's all grooming.
Yeah.
That's all grooming. You're not this kid's family. No, I'm sorry. Full stop. Any adult, other than like fucking therapists and doctors or teachers in them kind of settings, should be speaking to any child one-to-one.
Agreed.
No private conversation should be had. Full stop. I don't care if you've got the best intentions at heart. You're not a fucking pedo. You literally just want to talk to this child. It don't fucking matter. That's inappropriate. Without the parents present, you cannot speak to someone else's kid.
And where have the parents been? Where have the parents been throughout this whole situation?
There's the thing, isn't it?
And why were they not monitoring what their child was doing? You know, and why did they think it was okay for that relationship? You know, or did they know about the relationship? I guess.
Well, that's the question, but we don't know.
How much did they know? Because, you know, it is a bit strange. It is a bit strange that he just got this opportunity this morning.
Yeah. Well, there you go. That's the question here. If they knew, then what, they thought it was okay because it's Philip Schofield and he's like
I think that happens a lot, you know, with celebrities. Because remember R. Kelly?
Yeah.
Remember the whole situation with R. Kelly? Like, so many parents thought it was okay to let their teenage daughters go and spend time with R. Kelly on their own.
Well,
to go on tour with him, to be in his hotel room for an audition, and all these other. And you know what else is really weird? Why are auditions always in a hotel room? Pedo, pedo.
Because what you're auditioning for is not the talent that you have. You know, they get you in the hotel room, and it's like, oh yeah, you know, you've got this. You know, you're a really good singer, for example, but you know, we've got to see if you're really committed to, like, you know, being a singer. You know, I swear down. That's what this is.
I know. The thing is, I'm pretty sure that's true. I'm pretty sure that's exactly how it goes down.
Like when you go to an interview for a job, oh yeah, I'll meet you in my hotel room. Are you gonna go?
No.
Donnie's sat on the bed. Oh yeah, so I've just got a couple of questions. Oh, you wouldn't even walk in the room. That doesn't make any fucking sense.
It's just it's nonsensical, really.
It actually is.
But yeah, it's just I think some parents just lose their common sense when it comes to celebrities or people in power or people in certain positions, because they think they put them on a pedestal, I guess, and they think, oh, you must be so great. And I guess maybe to some extent that's why Jimmy Savile got away with so much stuff for so long.
Oh, he was a national treasure. So anyone, if you're an everyday Joe and you're involved with Jimmy Savile, I know Jimmy Savile, my son's hanging out with Jimmy Savile, my daughter's hanging out. People like you were cool. Do you know what I mean? He was like the celebrity version of like the Queen, the royal family. Yeah. And Shock, who did he hang out with? The royal family.
That's wild.
He was like literally like the James Bond of England. Do you know what I mean? Everyone loved it. It's true. And then look at him. The guy was celebrated for however long until he actually turned out to show his true colours, or, you know, got exposed for what he is. And now even, you know, people still don't really speak about it that much. It's just like, it's common knowledge, but it's like, oh, but you know, he can't have been the only one.
Yeah.
And all these people that he hung out with didn't know what he was like.
Yeah.
He was prolific. This sounds like Schofield's prolific.
Let me ask you a question.
Prolific.
Do you think Holly Willoughby knew?
Yeah. Them two have been fucking tied at the hip for as long as I've seen them on TV. I watch the shit that they're on. But everywhere that they are, it's like they're like Ant and Dec.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? They must shit together, eat together, sleep together. There's no way that she's probably a pedo as well, mate.
It wouldn't surprise me.
Let's be honest. She's only doing the whole distance thing because she doesn't want to fuck up her brand.
Yeah, 100%.
You know, I've got a, you know.
She's got, you know,
she can't say I knew.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? She's going to lose all her brand deals, her image. The public's going to fall out of favour with her all as well. It's like, listen, you've been exposed for what you've been exposed for. I told you to keep it under the fucking carpet, but you fucked it now. Sorry, mate, you're on your own. It's business, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't believe for a second that she didn't know. And this whole like act of, you know, not talking to him and, you know, and distancing herself from him and whatnot. You're 100% right. It is because she's trying to protect the brand. There's no way you couldn't have known. You were best friends. You were best friends. You spent so much time together in and out of work, and you're telling me you didn't know that the whole time this was going on? Everybody knew.
Everyone knew but you. You didn't hear one rumor, but everyone else seems to have.
Exactly. And you know what else?
Okay.
You know what else? You know Eamon Holm and his wife, Ruth Langsford?
Yeah.
He said that they heard rumors, but they didn't know.
Mm.
And I think, I don't know if I believe that 100%, because I feel like if you've heard that many rumors, surely you would figure it out, or you'd see it, or something like, or how hidden was it?
But that's the thing, like you said, is like who do you go to with that information? Like,
yeah, that's true, because his wife did complain and nothing really came of it. And I guess they complained when they figured it out, or when they thought it was a time to complain about it.
And that's the thing. If he's been doing it since the kid was 10 and ITV knew that he's been grooming this kid, or, seeing this kid, why have you protected him all these years?
And also, how have you allowed this kid to come onto the show? What would he have had to say for you to say, oh, okay, no problem?
They're either idiots or they're in on it. Do you know what I mean? Or Schofield, for whatever reason, has dirt on them, and that was his this is a condition of what I want on the show. I want this kid to be around me. Or that was maybe part of his payment package. Like, here's your job benefits. You can have this fucking poor kid fucking with you.
I think because I watch one of the things, and in one of the things, it seems like it's an interview between Eamon Holmes and Dan Wootton, I think it is. And it's interesting because Eamon essentially says that this morning, doesn't matter who presents it, the ratings are almost always the same, apart from when maybe like him and his wife do it, and it might be slightly higher because they're a couple. But the ratings are always the same regardless of who's presenting.
Yeah.
So he was saying, so this idea that Holly and Phil are a brand doesn't really make that much sense, because it's an illusion, because the ratings are going to be the same, because the type of people who watch This Morning are always going to be watching This Morning. It's irrelevant.
This Morning's the brand.
Exactly.
They're just the presenters, right?
Exactly. So he doesn't say it, but he's kind of saying it in a way which makes you think, like, why was he so protected? Why? How did he get away with this for so long? Why was he not punished for this? Or why did they do so much to protect him? Why did they make because they did a whole thing where they did a segment of him coming out as gay
on national TV.
Sorry, that was manipulative by him, and that was manipulative by ITV. That should just show you what TV actually is. It's a manipulation. It's a manipulation of story. When they say narrative, they mean they're telling you a story. They are.
It's called programming for a reason.
Exactly.
And like you said, the ratings stayed the same no matter who was on it. So that tells us that the people that watch it are the same people every week.
Exactly.
So these people are tuning in to this programming, right? Every week, the same people.
Yeah.
Call it 3% of the population or whatever it is.
And the thing is, so the question is, I guess, why were they protecting him? Well, obviously he must be in some secret club, or he must have some information, or he must, there must be something, because then there's no real reason to go to this length to protect a person, when really the reality is...
It's not like he was a valuable asset. You could have replaced him with anyone.
And the thing is, it would have been a better story if they just reported the truth.
Yeah.
If you came out and said, oh, actually, it turns out he's a pedo, he's been grooming this kid for a 10-year-old, that would get you so much attention as a network, and you'd get lots of views and blah, 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 and all of this stuff. But obviously they didn't want to do that, because that's not what they were wanting at that time. They wanted to manipulate the audience and to protect themselves because he's their friend.
But that's the deeper question, though. Schofield's a whole issue in itself. But the other question is, why did they protect him? Is it because they're in the same group, or is there something else going on?
And did they know what was going on when he asked for that kid to come onto the show? Yeah. They would have said, okay, cool, no problem.
Yeah.
Wink, wink.
Like, is it a question of they knew what was going on and they didn't want it to come out because it would expose that they knew and let it happen? Or is it a question of they knew what was happening, but they don't want it to come out because they're fucking involved in it? Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
They're still just as bad as each other, But I can't see any other option to why you'd protect this man, because it's not because he's the best presenter of all time and the show would be nothing without him. Holly Willoughby could have done it on her own. Do you know what I mean? If it all come out, cool, see you later.
She's going to.
Yeah, like, see you later, mate. We'll have her just on the show now. Like, it wouldn't have made an ounce of difference. So, what? Unless there's something I'm not seeing, I don't know. You tell me. What other options are there for why they would have done that? I
think they're all in one club. I think they knew exactly what was going on. I think they knew all of it. And I think it's interesting. I think it's interesting to see how things have panned out and how things are panning out now. And also what's interesting is that, what was that guy's name? The one who did the video where he...
Jack Jones.
Jack Jones did a video like 10 years ago when he reached 1 million followers, and Philip's in the back with a kid.
The maddest thing is, I remember seeing that.
And thinking nothing of it.
I thought nothing of it. I didn't even realise that
probably didn't register. Yeah. It probably didn't register.
The quality's not the best. I just paid more attention to Philip, to be fair. I was like, oh, that's that cunt. Do you know what I mean? Looking super awkward. And you watch it again now with a different lens.
You see.
And you're like, yo, that's the kid. He's like 11 there, 10.
He's in public with him. They're having a drink. The
kid's got a glass of wine.
It's wholly inappropriate.
It's like, what? Sorry?
And apparently he asked him to not post the video and said it could ruin my career. And apparently he admitted to him that he was on a date and blah, 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 but he didn't care. He just posted it anyway. And also, now this kid, I think Philip's paying for his lawyers. Apparently anyone who speaks about this child or this boy is met with like top lawyers from like around the country, like the best of the best. So he's not got the money for that, obviously. So who's paying for his lawyers?
ITV.
And rumour has it either ITV or Philip to protect themselves.
Huh. Well, Philip can't have that much money either.
I mean, he's been on... And network TV gets you a lot of money.
Does it?
Yeah. That's my understanding anyway. I can't imagine...
I guess.
I can't imagine they're not getting paid well.
I wouldn't know. I'm not a pedo, so I'm not in these circles. But you know what? It actually, at this point, it's not surprising, but it's sick and tiring. It's just like, how many more people have to come out that are on TV as pedophiles for people to be like, you know what, this TV shit is bullshit.
Yeah. Like, when are people actually going to realise and see what is right before them and start seeing it for what it is, as opposed to being like, oh no.
Like, it's not
just making up excuses for people.
Like, let's say there's this school, right, local school where we live. Head teacher comes out of a pedo, right? A couple of years later, the new head teacher comes out of a pedo. Couple years later, 3 of the teachers come out as pedos. 5 years later, all the teachers are pedos, right? Why would you send your kids to that school?
I'd burn the school.
Would you send kids to that school after the second head teacher?
No. Well, not even after the first, really. They'd be like, we're moving.
Do you know what I mean? So why is it that on TV, when these people that have been on the show for decades, some of them, well revered, well famous, well respected in all the high societies and circles that there are being caught for being paedophiles, do we assume that it's just an isolated
incident? It's insanity,
incident?
Innit? It's just an isolated,
and it's like they all work together. This one's a pedo. That they know each other. It's a pedo club.
Yeah.
Like, bro, Mel Gibson literally told everyone. Why do you think they cancelled Mel Gibson? Because he exposed Hollywood.
I'm surprised that he managed to live out that.
This is what I'm saying. Donnie literally told everyone that they're all pedos.
But yeah, he got massively cancelled.
And what does he do now? Have you seen him in any films? No, he has to produce his own shit because they cancelled him.
Yeah, no one wants to work with him because he's spilling everyone's secrets.
But still, that gets ignored. He's just crazy. But then people come out as being pedos. So the evidence is there. Even if it's like, yes, a small percentage of people, it's still the people that are the front runners, the faces of these, like ITV. Philip is the face of This Morning.
Yeah.
One of the faces.
Yeah.
He's the captain. Jimmy Savile was the captain, had his own fucking show. Mm-hmm. There's probably loads more I can't think off the top of my head, but all these pedos are there. And we're just ignoring the facts. It's like, if these guys are pedos, you tell me the people below them aren't.
And above them aren't.
Well, who's above them? We don't even know.
Well, the people who own the network, the people who own the show, who are in charge of running it and managing it and whatnot.
All this is, it's like that video I showed you of Beyonce's show of the tour that she's doing at the minute, and on the interlude, it was flashing with the mind control and the spinning hypnosis symbol with all like the epileptic strobe lighting, and then it comes up on the screen and says, "Whoever controls the media controls the minds." Right?
Yeah.
All this stuff that happens on TV, when they're showing us these people and then we learn to love them, learn to trust them, learn to respect them, then it turns out eventually that they're pedophiles.
Mm-hmm.
Is one, they're normalizing it because you kind of, you know, they show us these people, turns out they're pedophiles, but we don't then stop associating us. We don't distance ourselves from the shows. So we're kind of saying like, oh, you know, it is what it is, but it keeps happening. Mm-hmm. So we're accepting it. So it's normalizing it, right? And it's just mad. And it's just like, at the same time, they're programming us to think that it's okay. And it's all through what? Through the media.
Yeah.
So Beyonce's show, is that just a coincidence that she's put that up on the screen? Because I don't know what her new music is about and listen to her shit anymore.
Me neither, to be fair.
But I'm assuming that it ain't a bunch of woke stuff talking about the government and how the media's all lying and stuff. So why is that flashing on your screen?
They're letting you know the truth in plain sight.
Because they're showing, exactly.
Yeah.
You know, in dialect.
You know what I think maybe one of the reasons that people are probably gonna, you know, feel a bit sorry for Phil. Like if you look at his interview with The Sun, it's a bit of a sob story. If you look at his other interviews, the way he's talking, he's like, "Oh, do you want me to die?" And he's going down this route,
I think the suicidal thing.
Yeah, of course, because he wants you to feel sorry for him, and people are not quick to forget what happened to Carolyn Flack. She killed herself because there were some stories going around about some shit that was going on with her.
Yeah.
And she killed herself. And there's been loads of other incidents of people in television that have committed suicide because of these things. So, you know, it's going to be interesting to see where this goes because, you know, that's kind of like the narrative they're putting on. I mean, I hope he doesn't kill himself because, you know, there's really no need. And I think he should take punishment for what he's done. I feel like death is the easy route out. But, you know, it's interesting how the media are portraying it. And like, no one's really asked him any hard-hitting questions and, you know, really, really grilled him for like his behavior and what he's done and for the fact that you were actually messaging a 10-year-old. Like, how do you think that's okay? It's not. So it's interesting. So I think the media has a very good way of convincing the audience to feel sorry for someone or to hate someone or to like someone or to think someone, you know, or to think about something a particular way.
That's it.
Yeah. And, you know, Beyonce's right on the money there. Whoever controls the media controls your mind. If you let them.
So, yeah, we'll see. Is he going to top himself? Is it going to be exposed for what it is? Have we got it completely wrong? I don't think so.
I don't think so. I'm sorry. No. I don't for a second think that we're wrong. You know a pedo when you know a pedo.
The thing is, even when the gay story came out, we were like, ha.
Exactly. But also, hang on a second, his brother has been convicted for being a pedo. And where did this all start coming out from? It was because he told his brother, this can never happen again. He knew about his brother being a pedo months before, like everyone else found out. And his advice to his brother was, this can never happen again. I'm sorry, your brother abused a child. He needs to go to jail.
Like him being a pedo or like him being found out? Do you know what I mean?
Only he knows.
Yeah, what did he mean?
Either are bad. Either are really, really bad.
I'm going to say he probably meant the latter. Don't get caught again. Because they might start catching on to me as well. I've got a good thing here, you know?
I don't know what to tell you.
It's an interesting time because I do wonder, you know, the general public, let's call them. I do wonder what goes through their minds when they actually like see these stories coming out because they you know, they tune into the TV every day. They come home from work, slap it on with dinner from 6 say till 9, go to bed at 10, and then the ones that don't work watch the TV all day. Like, what are you watching and what are you actually thinking?
The thing is, the average person with the average life, which is I would assume quite busy, who only consumes like the standard news on your channels 1 to 5 and doesn't really look for sources elsewhere, doesn't really have these kind of conversations, they would assume what the TV is telling you is correct because they haven't engaged in the act of critically thinking about the situation. So they will probably just assume, he did have an affair, and that's the extent of it. They probably wouldn't think to ask more questions unless they really thought about it or had more time and space to think about it. But if the TV is feeding a narrative like, he feels so bad he had an affair, he's going to kill himself, then you're going to think, poor guy, man, he made a mistake. He did a bad thing, as he put it.
It's just worrying, isn't it? The state of humanity is just
that in itself is a caption. I did a bad thing. Like, that's going to stay in your head. he's very clever with what he said and how he's done it. He's minimised it.
It's just
he's
manipulation again,
through language.
Yeah. He's just trying to like pass it off, like, you know, it's not great, but
exactly.
Really, there needs to be a trial. They need to, you know, cancel the NDA so the kid can speak and give his side of the story. And probably get the parents involved as well and see what they're saying. Because, like, were they complicit in this? Did they know what was going on? Did they have suspicions? What's the deal? Like, do they have more kids? Like, maybe they should have their kids taken off them if that's the case, because fuck knows what's going on there. But it wouldn't surprise me if they knew the whole thing was going on the whole time, and in exchange for, like, you know, their kid getting some sort of chance at fortune and fame, they were just like, yeah, we'll let him have this. He's going to be sorted out for life. Hence why he needed the money, because he was probably funding the lifestyle that they wanted, and they were trying to live off of him. Wouldn't shock me. Look at Justin Bieber. Mum sold him out to the industry.
Chris Brown got sold out by his mum.
I'm telling you. This is the price people are willing to pay for power, fame, and money.
What's her name? Jeanette McCurdy? The chick off iCarly, the blonde one. Where she
Not saying it.
Got a book up there somewhere. Yeah, it's Jeanette McCurdy. She basically said that she wishes her mum died because her mum basically controlled all of her life and controlled all of her child career.
I'm telling you. Some people have kids and they see them as an asset.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?